who will be talking about the remix of architecture and how other forms of art and shape include integrated design. Architect Kumudu Munasinghe, who has a bachelor in Built Environment, University of Moratuwa, masters in architecture, University of Moratuwa, chartered architect at Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, 1998. Fellow member, Sri Lanka Institute of Architects 2020, Kumudu S. Munasinghe, a Sri Lankan architect who specializes in architectural design and detailing for the Sri Lankan environment. He is well known for his housing projects, but he has also worked in several high-rises and high-profile projects in Colombo. Let's give a round of applause and welcome him on stage.
Okay, I'll start with the presentation on the remix of architecture, because basically what I'm trying to give you the idea of the polymatic with a certain the deviation from the polymatic in the standard way, and I'm trying to talk about more into the sort of other influences we are getting into the shape of the building, and the same as the architectural practices and your identity in all together. Now, when you look at the standard practice, the architect as a polymatic, the conditions that you have to be good in science, engineering, mathematics, and history, humanities, the technology, how you're going to use it, and the law and the business, what to run in architecture, and the psychology and the sociology to understand the people and the people aspirations. Now, those are the things in the general terms of polymatics that you will try to explain and try to do it on. In my way, it's quite different, because I was trying to refine myself into the different sort of the category. At the same time, it's mostly the architects and the students here will get the benefit out of not the standard way of thinking. It's a complete sort of different deviation from the standard thinking. With the love of music, the love of acoustics, drama, film, and all the other aspects, that's where you are refining yourself into the correct world of architecture, rather than just standard studies and the subjects what you are learning from the school. Now, this is the extra curriculum activities which we are using will give you the better knowledge of understanding your curriculum activities, and at the same time you are refining yourself into the different kind of the designs and the architecture altogether. Now, in here, what I am trying to do is, I'm giving some examples of works which we have experienced, and certain works I have done in the university, certain works I have done in the practice has been brought together for the explaining the better the slides and the presentation. Now, initially, the architect as a scholar, it's a kind of fusion that you get the science, technology, and the history, designs, and everything together. That's where you form the architects into the sort of the professional work. Now, architects, basically they are integrating with their intellect, the science, and the history, and the technology, shape of the building and the building environment, structural element and calculations. Now, those are the standard factors that you are learning at the university, and at the same time you are learning through the practices. Now, when it's come to the real world, it's more than that. How you respond yourself and how you present yourself into the society is more important. And what you talk about, what you are presenting yourself, and the two different languages what you are using, and how you're going to merge together what you have learned, what you have inspired. Those are the aspects that I am more interested in talking in this one. It's not just the fusion of science and the landscape or the urban designs or interior design and the history or the sociology. That the certain things that you're building up with yourself with the other forms like music, drama, and all that will help you to get yourself into a more refined form of architects. It's not the polymath which we have taught and which we are taught in the school. At the same time, see the other aspects like music, the films, and the drawings and the certain other the related works, even adventures and all that. That will help you to get the personal choices to build up yourself into a certain different level of architecture. This is me doing in various things, doing the meditation, doing the real movie stuff and all that. That's where I stand myself for doing differently. Now these are the things which I experience in my life, especially in the movies and all that. I take the movies into my sort of inner things and develop the designs. When you are developing the designs and all that, it's all come out in what you have seen in these things. Now it's especially the spaces, set designs, lighting, and storytelling and all that will help you to make yourself into present your client in a different way of forming, different way of the presentation altogether. At the same time, it's the historical knowledge and the historical the aspects what you have experienced and what way you have traveled and all that also benefited yourself into the presenting yourself into the clients. At the same time, the music is another one which has been developed, or sort of you don't have to be a musician, but at least you have to listen to the music and understand the music and the languages, and it's a universal language, and you can any sort of music, if you get the rhythm, the fusions or the frequencies, then you are into the architecture, then you can build in those the forms by getting those frequencies into your sort of architectural languages. That's why I really want to show these pictures. And at the same time, there's certain hobbies and all that. Maybe personally I'm a bike lover, and at the same time I travel a lot, and those aspirations or the sort of experience that you are getting has finally become being architect, because it's not the real polymathic as a subjects, but these are the refiners. These are the things that you have get influences, and you are forming yourself into a certain kind of person. Now sketching is one of the subjects I may really enjoy. Now these are the sketches I have done myself for certain projects which I am presenting in few slides away. Then now some of the projects has been built, some of the projects has not been built. Now when you're doing these sketches, I think rather than tooling the digital sort of the computerized images and all those the new technologies into the hand, but the sketching give a certain sort of messages going to the brain, that you are deep into the deep thinking. Every dot you are putting there, then there's a meaning for it, and you are thinking on when you are doing the sketching, because that's refining yourself into the brain cells and all that. Then the project will become a sort of the more knowledgeable, and you know the projects in and out when you're having that sort of the capabilities. Now these are the previous sketches I have done in some of the projects. Some of the projects has been built, some are still not built. Some are actually, the corner one is a temple in Hungal. Now this is back to the school. When I was doing my master, in the last 3 design, I continuously failed the design projects. Now I was thinking of how I'm getting out of the place, and sort of everybody was thinking, okay, this is a standard architecture practice, and you are coming with sort of standard norms and a standard way of doing those things. Then finally, at the end of the day, I was failed for the last 3 designs. Now getting out of those problems is one of the key issue, because the next project is my final one, and I have to think more reverse way of doing of things. Now the things I have found is a sort of deconstructivism, and which is not a subject that time is very familiar, and I have studied well on deconstructivism, and I know the theories and helped me out of a lot of I got the theory books, and that's helped me out of getting certain ideas of how it works and all that. But because it's not in the textbooks of the University of Moratuwa, and all the lecturers, all the teachers, they are more familiar with the standard of way of architecture. Now, this is completely different. It's a reverse shot of cricket, and it's quite similar because the no principle of architecture will apply on these concepts. Now, it's a sort of the inner feeling of the people will get into the form of architectural forms, and it has when it's come to the architectural forms, because then it's has a different outlook and a different way of creating the space within the building. Now, this concept has been, it's not a new one at that time. It has been developed by the Derrida. And there's a way of thinking that I have changed is one of the lateral thinking of Edward de Bono's book. That's given a lot of the getaway of the standard practice, standard way of thinking, and standard way of doing things. Now that's the basis of that. Then I developed my scheme in the same way that deconstructivism. Recently I have one of my students has made the 3D the model of the drawings which I have done 25 years ago, and now it's become available on 3D forms. Now this is the project I have done. It's a Sinhala Cultural Center, and the project is to get the inside sort of thoughts of how the Sinhala cultural will work. And initially this is when it's presented to the university, everybody thought it's a kind of big veranda, style roof, and a standard way of the Sri Lankan architecture practice. Now this is completely different. It's a different way of thinking, different way of arguing, different way of the presenting. And that's how it's became a sort of very sort of the unique sort of shapes. End of the day, I got one of the highest marks for this project. It's a student project, and it shows a completely different way of thinking can adapt yourself into and present yourself into a different sort of environment, a different sort of the approach, and get result out of it. By doing this, I think I will go to some of the projects we really enjoyed ourselves by doing it. And the first two projects are not built, but it has been up to the tender stage. We have been done the detailing now. The waiting for some of the projects are government projects, waiting for the government approval to go ahead. Now, this is the office building for the water board, head office building for the water board in Sri Lanka. Now, it's a very simple concept we have adapted here. It's a form of the water and the waves of the water into the sort of architectural form. How best we can get the molecular form of H2O into the architectural form. And this way, architect has to get the knowledge of sort of molecular science, and the same time, the chemistry, how it works. And the same time, the building, how the building can be respond with the nature and all that. That's where the whole story is wrap around. Now, this building is 13-story building, and developed in such a way that you get the molecular form of the water into the architectural form. Now, this is the combination of the sort of the outer look has been developed, but these are based on the form of the water, and the molecular form of the water to transform into the architectural form. Now, this is how we have done the building, and the building itself has a fairly thick the outer skin, which gives you the sort of the response to the environment, and the same time we try to create certain at least 27 degree without any air condition, because of having thick envelope of the building, which has the green and the shading all around the building. That gives you sort of the buffer zones to the inside. This is how the building works. And these are the plans of the building. And the shape of the building also get the more the light to the building, then at the same time it will get the more the air into the building. It's a complete different way of thinking rather than the square-shaped building, and getting this sort of shape. This is how the outlook should be. And this is how it's respond with the nature and the building form, and totally it respond to the architecture. Our second project, we have designed this is a hospital in Oman, and this particular design we got sort of cultural and the Omani their cultural and the heritage into a architectural form. We basically start the design with the inspiration of an analysis. That's where the pattern and the stars and the design reflect the human and the faith of the intercoordinates. And these, the shapes and the things which are more familiar with the Muslim architecture and the sort of Islamic architecture in that area. Now we developed the design based on their own culture and their own heritage for their own people. Now these are the symbols that we have been inspired when we do the design. This was done in very short time. It's about nearly 3 or 4 days we have completed the whole concept and the detailing. Now this is how it comes, all the star signs. This is fairly square, the size of site, and you get all the architectural shapes that built up into the whole site. The building is kind of a star shape, and various component of the hospital has been located in different levels and the different the layers of the building. And this is how it works with the total layout. The building is at the center. All the other area is the landscape area and the water features and the pathways, how best we can merge all together. And the building becomes like this. And it still follows the Islamic architectural patterns and the motifs and the detailing, and the same concept can be developed. It doesn't matter the culture or the heritage or any other side of the world, you can make your study and you can relate into their sort of the ambitions and the inspiration of the people, and make your own building stand anywhere in the world. Now these are the 3D images of the building. Again, back to in Sri Lanka again, in Valisara Navy Base, we were commissioned to do the multifunction hall for the Sri Lanka Navy. It's a fairly large building, about 1,800 seating capacity, with several restaurants and other ancillary buildings around it. This has taken the concept of making the generic forms by the waves, sea, and the sky. That's a concept that we have been adapting on this one. You get the built form into not necessary to be the square shape, and the sort of wave shapes and the fluid sort of look to the building. And that's how we look at the Navy into the architecture. Navy, how it goes. නෑ නෑ තව තියෙනවා. Hello. Yeah. This is a building, and this is how the various shapes and the forms are placed on the same project. This is the entrance of the building here. This is how the various shapes of the building has been incorporated. And at the same time, you look at the toilet, there's no tile in the toilet. And all the walls has been done with the metal sheets and to get the sort of the ambience of the ship. This is the main hall that you can see the sea and the sky together. That's the sort of ambience that we have created. That's a 1,800 seating capacity with several restaurant and ancillary facilities around the building. This is again one of the projects that I have still enjoying doing certain amendment and doing that because this was fairly old one, finished on 2012 and adding certain pieces later on. And this is a romance valley in Haputale. And you can see the various shape of the building has been created to get the maximum benefit out of the environment. And the same time, how best you can have your relaxation and the certain sort of the mindfulness into yourself. Now the buildings and the environment has been merged with the nature and give the different kind of ambience to the residents and the occupants. Now you can see the cube, the nature, the context, and the love. Now this is the building and the layout and how it had been laid on the hillside. These are some of the sketches I have done originally. This is the interior of the building and the exterior view of the building. Which I try to do is more or less like the glass to be introduced as a sort of major element of the house and to get the more experience to the people who are residing there and connect with the nature when you go into the building. Even when you are in the dining hall, but you will see the full length of the glass, about 50 feet at a cross, and you will see the complete picture of the mountain when you are in the dining. So these are some of the aerial pictures. Now again, this is a sort of another project that we have done with the influence of the sort of Nuwara context. And the same Tudor style of architecture has been adapted in these designs. One is a complete new design, the new house, new villa in Nuwara. The same architectural pattern has been continued, and the Tudor style, which is more the sort of architectural style has been introduced by the British to the Nuwara. Now, the same pattern has been continued on these houses. I'm here doing the mixed lot because that's why I call it remix, everything together. And it's a different kind of styles that you can adapt it. In architecture, you don't have to be sticking to the one style, and you can adapt various styles to yourself. Make sure you are refining yourself into the various other fields. That will help you to get out sort of that fusion nature into your design. This is a renovation project. It's a 160 years old bungalow, again in Lower area. But this is the original condition of the bungalow that we have when we undertook the renovations. This is how it's finished. We didn't touch the original structure, but we developed the design and introduced the same Tudor style architecture throughout the design, outside, inside, all. Even the furniture and all that is the same type of era, the sort of interior works, the flower designs, the sort of floral, the beddings and all that, which has been used by the British in those days, has been sort of replicated in this design. This again different kind of the architectural approach. It's a Dutch styles. I have been doing this house. I have done this house about nearly 10 years back, and it's in the Bolgoda Lake. And the client specifically want sort of historical style of the architecture has to be adapted on this house. Then we have to go for the sort of detailing and all that to get some information about how the Dutch architecture works in this kind of building. This is how the looks the house from the lake. Now these are the things that I have been studying and get the proportion and how the details works in this kind of design. This is again one of the views of the house. It's all sort of Dutch architecture style has been adapted in this design throughout from all the area of the house. This is another way of polymathic that you can adapt various styles into your designs, but you have to be sort of getting your pre-studies done, and you have been equipped with the knowledge and the proportions and how this works with any environment that you can relate it to. But of course, the basic principles of the architecture, like contextual, the relationship and the environmental, has to be there. At the same time, you can have your own style or the sort of different styles to create any solutions to the problems. Now again, this is a different kind of architecture. It's a sort of the manor house, which is one of the largest house in Colombo. We have done nearly 2,500 drawings for this house. And the idea is, the concept is classic glamour with the Renaissance details. Now when you look at the details that we have been incorporated in this house, we have got all, it's not the colonial, it's a Renaissance, the French style detailing. It's a slightly different from the British architectural styles, and the proportion has been worked out on the total projects and how best we can get that Renaissance detailing into the interior as well as the outer look. Now this is the inside of the house, and you get a lot of sculptures and the details and the motifs and all that. That's all have been hand-drawn details. All this has been done, and all the sculptures. Some of the sculptures we have imported. Some of the things has been done by the one of the sculpturists in Negombo, who used to work in several churches and all that. Now he has done this. The furniture is from Turkey. This is a swimming pool with a lot of this. Again, it's the detailings are done in such a way that you get that same the Renaissance style to follow up in every space of the house. It's a staircase detail. Some of the craftsmen who has done these detailings are not Sri Lankan, they are from India, especially the ceiling works and the marble works done by the Indian craftsmen. Again, back to the normal way of doing houses. Now, this is what I like in my simple style of the modern minimalistic house. Now, these are the kind of things that will more appreciated by the people who are coming in. This is the original sketch of the house with the detail. Now, these are some of the pictures inside the house. All these interiors of this house has been done in 20 years ago. Now it still remain the same as this. That's all for my presentation. I think basically what I'm trying to say is on this one is your experience and your expertise knowledge, not only being architects, but various other fields have been, when you expose into the music and all the other extracurricular activities, can refine yourself into give the different solution to the people. And I see this as a polymathic approach, and it's not necessary to be the very subjective and very studious sort of the guidelines by the technology or the environment and all that, but you play with the fusions. Thank you.